Okay, continuing with quotes on the letter P in alphabetical order. This is Dolly Parton, the country music singer, born in 1946. So, she's a very beautiful lady. She has 11 siblings, 12 children in her family. She was married to the same man all of her life, 58 years, and then he died. She was not able to have any children. She had endometriosis, and then she had to have a hysterectomy at 36 years old. She didn't know that lots of people, if they go low-fat vegan, they're cured of endometriosis. Dr. Neil Bernard wrote a whole book about it, called Your Hormones in Balance, and he wrote about patients being cured of endometriosis going low-fat vegan. Doesn't mean all of them will be cured by that. There's other, estrogenic chemicals in personal care products and laundry detergents and all that sort of stuff. Anyways, then here's some of her quotes. You would be surprised how much it costs to look this cheap. I'm not offended by dumb blonde jokes because I know I'm not dumb and I know I'm not blonde. People say I look so happy and I say that's the Botox. Don't lose your temper, use it. So, she had no kids because she couldn't. Okay, she and her husband had wanted to. And that's the opposite of like the rock and roll singer, what's her name, that was in Fleetwood Mac, Stevie Nicks. She had 4 kids and aborted all 4 of them. And every guy she was with, left her after that. What a disgusting disgrace. But I like Dolly. Okay. All right. Next is Isabel Paterson. She was a American self-educated lady philosopher, writer, and editor. She was sort of a mentor teacher to Ayn Rand. She said, whoever is fortunate enough to be an American citizen came into the greatest inheritance that man has ever enjoyed. He has had the benefit of every heroic and intellectual effort men have made for many thousands of years, realized at last. If Americans should now turn back and submit again to slavery, it would be a betrayal so base the human race might better perish. So, she died in 1961. So she came up and saw America, its rising greatness. Okay, it was the most productive country in the world by the late 1930s. And I grew up, everybody's like, America's the best country in the world. There's nothing even close. We looked at all the other countries as just crap holes compared to America. And England had been prominent, had played a prominent role in World War II. But, again, I visited England in 1980 and it was such a crap hole, socialist, poor country. I thought it was a disgrace. Their best hotel, the Buswell, across the street from Hyde Park, was like a Motel 6 piece of crap. So we thought England was just pathetic. They had the great rock and rollers in the 1960s, The Who, the Rolling Stones, and all that kind of stuff, the Beatles. But they were already down the tubes by 1980, and now England is a disgrace. Okay, next quote from Isabel Paterson. Every politically controlled educational system will inculcate the doctrine of state supremacy sooner or later. Once that doctrine has been accepted, it becomes an almost superhuman task to break the stranglehold of political power over the life of the citizen. It has had his body proper and his mind in its clutches from infancy. An octopus would sooner release its prey. A tax-supported compulsory educational system is the complete model of the totalitarian state, and there can be no greater stretch of power than is required to seize the children from their parents, to teach them whatever the authorities decree they shall be taught, and to expropriate from their parents the funds to pay for the procedure. Yeah, it's insane. They take the kids away from the parents, force them to go to a school where they learn a bunch of crap that's not in their interest, and the parents have to pay for it through their taxes. So public schools are bad. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. They're the enemy of freedom, the enemy of education. They're bad in every way. Okay, next thing. Do you think anyone would willingly entrust his children to you or to pay you for teaching them? Why do you have to collect your pupils by compulsion? Right, because the public schools stink. It's not education. It's the opposite of education. Okay, let's see here. She says, the power to do things for people is also the power to do things to people. Most of the harm in the world is done by good people, and not by accident, lapse, or omission. It is the result of deliberate actions long persevered in, which they hold to be motivated by high ideals towards virtuous ends. So what she's basically saying is like Hannah Arendt had said, the banality of evil. Most evil is done by good people who are just kind of stupid and gullible and conformist and go along. Like all of them said in the 1930s, we were just following orders. Well, the same thing happens today. Tons of people do very bad things every day. But they say, hey, I'm just following orders. Okay. It's like a doctor. You could cure a patient with a low-fat vegan diet, but nope, just following orders, drug protocol, etc. Okay, let's see what else we got from her. One last quote. Right now, it is a terrible thing to be a rugged individualist, but we don't know what else to be except a feeble non-entity. Okay, that was Isabel Paterson. Hope you found that helpful.